I read a quote that said, "Put off for tomorrow that you don't mind dying in you today." Put off for tomorrow that you don't mind dying in you today, because tomorrow's not promised. Michael Jackson said, "This is it," but it was not the it that he was talking about. And I've been rethinking my life. I'm living with a sense of urgency, getting things done. And I realize the most dependable hand is the one at the end of your wrist. If I ask you to do something and you don't do it, I believe you're either unwilling or you unable, and I'm going to get it done. I'm not going to leave anything on the table.
You got to rise up. You got to make your dreams a reality and live a damn masterpiece. You know this. Here's the thing. You got to make a decision. What's the decision? What's the thing you came here for? The clock is ticking. People say all the time, hey, life is short. Life can be long. You bury your dreams, you quit this, life gets long. So if you're enjoying it, it's short. If it's painful, it's long. Life can be long.
When I die, let everybody know life don't owe me any change. It's one thing to say we're made in the likeness and image of God and been given authority and dominion over everything on the face of the earth, including the choices that we make. We make choices and our choices make us, but most of us don't make the choice to live full. Most of us take our talents, our abilities, our skills, our book to the graveyard, making the graveyard rich. Rob the cemetery of your ideas.
The difference between a thought and a decision is an action. So we know, and you just decided, and you know what it is. You know what it is.
Jared Jackson would say, life has no duplicate. We only have one life to live. Do you have a book in you? Do you have a story in you? Do you know how much time you have left? None of us do. Do it now. Take action now.
The power of choice is critical in our lives. I want you to think about something right now. What are 5 of the most important choices you've made in your life? Begin to list them off in your head. 5 of the most important choices you've made in your life. Maybe it was a decision to get involved in a particular business. Maybe it was a decision to get involved with a particular person or to become uninvolved with a particular person. Maybe it was a friend that you had to walk away from in order to improve your life. What are the 5 most important choices of your life? And if you altered those 5 choices, good, bad, or indifferent, how different would your life be today? Because I'm a believer that there's everyday choices we make that when you stack them up, they make a massive difference in our life. And I think as you just asked yourself that question, you may say there haven't been 5, there's been 2. What were they? And how'd they alter the direction of your life?
How to go from where you are to where you want to go. How to go from what you are to what you want to become. How to go from pennies to treasure. How to go from nothing to fortune. Be like a sponge. Don't miss anything. Don't miss what's going on. Most people are just trying to get through the day. Here's what I want you to be committed to do. Learn to get from the day. Learn from it. Let the day teach you. Join the University of Life. What a difference that'll make in your future. Commit yourself to learning. Commit yourself to absorbing. Get it. Don't miss it. Here's a good phrase for you to jot down. Wherever you are, be there. Be there to soak it up. Take pictures of your mind. Get it. Capture it. Absorb it. Don't be casual in getting it. Key phrase. Casualness leads to casualties.
I'm a humongous believer that ideas are and that execution's the game. We've all got ideas. Everybody's got ideas. And Uber was Magic Cab 3 years earlier. Uber is not an idea. Uber existed. It's called Magic Cab. But the guys that executed it sucked. So they lost.
Look, Uber is a good idea. You push a button and get a ride. I don't know if we were the first person to ever think of that idea, but we were the first person to do it. And so you gotta just go do it then. You gotta just get out there and go do it. So it's easy to have the idea, or straightforward, but then you've gotta have enough guts to go out there and try. That's the way of the entrepreneur.
The reality is, reading a book or going to a conference or having a great conversation, that's all fantastic. But what makes mastery is execution on the ideas, not the ideas. And so no idea works unless you're willing to roll up your sleeves, do the practice, invest the time, do the work. I think we've all observed a lot of people who they love reading the books. They do all the online training and nothing ever changes. And they say, well, you know, I don't know why it doesn't change, why my life doesn't change, my relationships don't change. Well, it's because ideas don't work if you don't execute on them. So if you look at the great business builders, you look at any great performer, one thing that makes them great is their grit. One thing that makes them great is their hunger to practice, is they are willing to sacrifice. Yes, they're passionate, but did you know the root of the word passion is suffering? You've got to be willing to suffer for your vision, to reach BIW, best in world. You've got to be willing to suffer the ridicule and laughter of your critics and your cynics to get to a place called world class.
So it's really about you being in the state where you execute. It's like I always tell people, knowledge is not power, it's total BS. Knowledge is potential power. Execution trumps knowledge every day of the week, and so my life is, how do you get yourself to execute? And execution comes from learning to put yourself in that right state every day.
You're like a Navy SEAL. You've got the mission plan, now you execute it. Here's the key. The more you do difficult things, the more you'll be brilliant at doing difficult things. You get better at what you practice. If you complain, you're going to be Picasso level of complaining. If you're a victim or a toxic person, or what people call a drama mama, and that applies to men and women, and if you do it every day, you're going to be F1 champion driver level performance at being a drama mama. If you cut corners in your craft at work every day, you are literally hardwiring in. And if you practice it over 10 years, 10,000 hours in total, you're going to be Mozart level, Elon Musk level at that, practicing mediocrity. You will get brilliant at what you practice every day, consciously and subconsciously.
When things go wrong, they always seem to happen at once, and they just compound. And it's pretty easy sometimes to feel beaten when you're faced with all those issues and all those problems, and they all hit you at the same time. But that doesn't mean give up. In fact, it means the opposite. It means it's time for you to fight harder. It means it's time for you to go on the warpath. And that starts with one of the fundamental laws of combat leadership: prioritize and execute. What's the biggest problem? Or what's causing the most stress? Family? Sit them down. Explain where you are at. Be blunt, and then give them the simple plan of how you're going to get things back on track. You give it to them straight, right? You're falling behind at work. Okay, talk to your boss. Face it. Tell him that you're going to step up your game. Tell him you're going to be at work early, you're going to be at work late, you're going to be wherever you need to be, whenever he needs you to be there. Tell him you're going to get after it. And tell him that you're 100% committed. And then you get started.